Welcome back. All right, so it's been, I don't know, about a week or so since we started working on the 68 again. And the reason is that I've ordered 3 different styles of weld-on bung. This is one that I got locally. I ordered 3 different styles of them from Amazon, hoping that I would get the right one. But everyone that said it was a 3/8 NPT, which is the size of the hole there in the middle, came in and it was definitely not. So I got this one from a local store, and yeah, that's what we're out here to do tonight. So let's roll into it. All right, so if you remember last time, where we left off was getting the oil pan off of the car, and as you can see, it's back on here. Well, why, you might ask? And that's because I want to keep all the dirt and contaminants that I can out of the motor until we get all the right parts. So let's spin the camera around here and take a look at what I see. All right, so this silly thing doesn't want to zoom in far enough, but you'll have to take my word for it. Right here on this bottom weld that holds the factory drain plug in, there's a small crack that runs right where this little screwdriver is and down. And that's what's giving us the issue. Not to mention, when I put that cross member, let me back up. When I put that cross member in here that comes down, this is kind of a pain in the butt to get to. So what we want to do is drill a hole in the bottom of the pan. I'm probably going to go in the middle, but what I want to do is drill a hole there, put that weld in bung there, and then we're going to weld it on. So enough talking, let's get to it. All right, so that didn't take long. As you can see, I got my step bit or my unibit to drill through the oil pan here. It fits the bung in there pretty well, I would say. Drops right in, a little bit of room around it. So what I'm going to do is weld around it out here now, and then I'm gonna flip it over, and my plan is to weld around the inside there. So it's kind of like a double seal. And like I said, that is an NPT thread. So for those of you that don't know, the NPT, as you can see here, is smaller down here at the bottom than it is up here at the top. And that taper is what actually locks those threads together and gives you a leak-proof seal. So with all that said, let's get to welding. So yeah, I think we're gonna wrap up one more thing on this car tonight, and that is that our alternator belt, let's see if I can get you in a half decent angle up here. You see the alternator? Okay, so there's our alternator way up there. We have the belt hanging down here in front of the camera, and all we gotta do is turn this turnbuckle here, bring the alternator down, put the belt on, and then tension it back up. So we're gonna get that done tonight. Just one more little thing that's not done on the car that has to be. And yeah, we'll try and get this oil pan out tomorrow for powder coat. Hopefully it's not a super long turnaround. 1, because I don't wanna have the bottom of the motor open too long. And 2, obviously, because we wanna get it running. So let's get at it. So I apologize for the junky camera angle, but it's kind of tight quarters, so yeah, sorry. All right, so just another project. As you saw, we just put the belt on the alternator. Now we're gonna look at the exhaust again. So if you remember before on the engine, I had a little breather on both valve covers. And while it works, it's not ideal. And the reason is most engines like one valve cover to pull in and one valve cover to pull out, especially a race motor like this one. So what we're going to do is I went to Moroso and I got this here little setup. Let me get out of the way so you can see. So what it is a pipe that goes down into the exhaust, and there's a little flute right here. Can you see that little notch? So what happens is air goes in that little notch and creates a vacuum in the pipe. You kind of place it like this so the exhaust blows past it. A little bit goes in there and creates a vacuum upstream. And then what you have here is a one-way check valve. So this valve is going to allow engine exhaust or crankcase pressure to come out of here. Why did I say engine exhaust? Anyways, yeah, so that's going to let crankcase pressure get out of this here, and it's not going to allow anything to go back this way. If exhaust pressure tries to go back up this way, the little valve closes, and no harm, no foul. Now, that's going to allow us, like I said, to have one valve cover breathing in fresh air and one valve cover escaping all the other air that, you know, is too much, the crankcase pressure. So what you do here is you weld this pipe into your exhaust, you put a rubber hose from here up to the one valve cover, and you put a PCV valve that is always open. So you have a sprung type, which kind of goes open and shut with the engine pulses, and then you have an open where it just kind of allows it to come in and out. So that's what we're gonna do. We need to figure out where we're gonna mount this, get it mounted or get it kind of marked out, drill it, we'll weld it, and then the exhaust is ready to go out for a ceramic coat, and we're about ready to cross another thing off the to-do list. Anyways, let's get at it. All right, so we're under here under the car now. Let me spin the light around. Woohoo! There you go. It's kind of drowning me out. My goodness. Okay, so we're back under here under the car, and I know that I want the pipe or the rubber hose that's going to go to this one-way valve coming from the passenger side. The reason for that is one valve cover has the inlet or the, you know, the little filter at the front of the engine. That would be the driver's side, and one is at the rear of the engine. That would be the passenger side. So I'm hoping that running it on the back of the engine, I can kind of tuck it away in the engine bay and it's not going to be as noticeable. So we want to make sure that we have enough room for this rubber hose to come down here. Obviously we don't want it touching the headers or anything like that. And I want to get it down in this area here. Now, one big thing to consider is you don't want all of this, what's going to have oil vapors and stuff, in front of your O2 sensor. So my O2 sensor is on the passenger side bank here, but we're gonna mount this on the driver's side and even after the bung that I put in this side. If you remember, I put a bung in this side here just in case we ever needed one. So we're gonna mount this after that, again, just to make sure that if I ever put an O2 in there, it's not gonna go ahead and contaminate or foul up that O2 sensor, giving us a bad reading. So I think we're gonna try and shoot for somewhere in this area, right in this bend. And that should give us enough clearance to run this right up beside the transmission here and kind of tuck it in away and keep it all out of harm's way. So enough talking, let's get to it. All right, so you can see our hole right here. Our pipe fits in, and I can kind of pull it over on a bit of an angle, as you can see here, so it clears the end of our O2 sensor right there. So I think that's gonna work out just great. Let's go ahead, pull the exhaust back off the car, and then we can weld this sucker in. All right, guys, so there you go. That's, you know, 3 little projects done on the car tonight. We got that alternator belt back on. We got the bung welded in the exhaust for the PCV, and we got the bung welded in the oil pan for the new oil drain, welded up the old one and the little crack. So, like I said, 3 projects that are done and out of the way, And yeah, on to bigger and better things. Hopefully we can drop this stuff off at the coating place tomorrow, or maybe Tuesday at the latest, and get that stuff rolling. But we got another project here in the shop, and yeah, that might just be your next video. So I'll throw you out with a little sneak preview of that. But as always, if you guys want a t-shirt or anything, make sure you check out the link in the description below. The t-shirt that I'm wearing, that and the embroidered hats come from a different vendor. So if you like those instead, shoot me a DM on Instagram or Facebook at official710garage. Now, like I said, let's get to that preview of next video. You are not gonna wanna miss this. Take it easy, guys. We'll catch you on the next one. See ya!